This farm you're seeing on your screen right now has taken me over 120 hours to build, and today you finally get to see it. So, welcome to my 4 year Stardew Valley farm tour. Technically, this is 3 full years completed and now heading into the 4th year, but I think it still counts. And this just isn't a regular farm either. I'm playing on Grandpa's farm, which is a part of the Stardew Valley expanded mod. It's a totally different farm type with extra space, a cool layout, and some unique areas that you won't find in vanilla Stardew Valley. And it's been such a fun project to grow over time, and I'm really obsessed with how it turned out. But just so you know, again, this is a fully modded playthrough. A lot of what you'll see today, the buildings, the recolors, even the farm map itself, is all thanks to mods that you can find on Nexus Mods. I'll go over some of those before we start the actual tour, but if you've ever wanted to try Stardew Valley modding for yourself, I have videos linked down below to help get you started. So go grab your snack, your blanket, and get comfy, and let's dive into this farm tour. Wait. Before we jump into the actual farm tour, let's quickly talk about the mods that make this playthrough what it is. You can find the full mod list linked down in the description, and every single one of them is available over on Nexus Mods if you want to try them out for yourself. Now, a few of the more notable mods you're going to see throughout this tour include Daisy Nico's earthy recolor and earthy interiors, which really transforms the overall vibe of this game. For my farm buildings, I'm using the Italian countryside building set. It completely changes the look of the barns, coops, sheds, and honestly makes the whole farm feel like a little European getaway. I also use simple foliage and simple resources, which retextures the trees, rocks, and a lot of other natural elements around the farm. On top of that, there's better grass, which gives the grass a much softer, fuller look, and seasonal fences that change within the seasons, which is such a nice little detail in the game. And of course, I can't forget about Elle's cuter farm animals. I've got the cuter barn animals, coop animals, and so many other animal mods that just add a retexture to those animals. Now, there are so many more mods running in this playthrough, but these are some of the big ones that you'll notice right away. Again, if you're curious, that full mod list is down in the description. Alright, now that we know what this is shaping out to look like, let's actually take a walk through the farm and see it in action. So coming out of my house, you can see this little area which is home to all of my pets, my horse, my cat, and even my turtle, plus the shipping bin and a little cozy backyard cabin tucked off to the side. I've added in a bunch of other small details around this area too, and this spot up here is meant to be for Lance, but he doesn't have anything there, so I'm not totally sure what's going on. You can also see some trees, a few Junimos hanging out, and of course my collection of daily statues that I grab items from every morning. Next up is the heart of my farm, which is the crop area. I've got plenty of space for crops throughout each season, with Junimo huts in place to help with the harvest. Scarecrows and lightning rods also stand guard to keep everything safe from those crows and the lightning. And I've also added in a few decorative touches to keep the space lively and cozy. And down at the bottom, you'll also notice some trees with some tappers. And really, this is just a simple setup, but I love how it all comes together and how it looks from season to season. Right next to my crops are my warp towers. I keep the ones that I use most at the top for quick trips to Ginger Island and the Oasis, and the ones to the beach and mountains are right down below. The mod I'm using for the towers fits perfectly with the Italian countryside buildings, which makes the farm look more cohesive while still being super functional, and it's still really easy to tell which tower goes to where at a quick glance. Next up is my storage and my fish pond area. One of my storage houses holds all of my machines, chests, and supplies, while the other is dedicated strictly to wine. The fish ponds are home to a variety of fish, producing roe, oars, and other useful items. And you'll also notice all the little details scattered around: tables and chairs, flowers and lights, crab pots and machines, all adding a little bit of charm and keeping everywhere functional while still looking really pretty and really fun. Now we're going to take a little walk on over to my favorite little area of my farm, but first we're going to walk past a ton of trees, a ton of mushroom trees, my golden clock even, because this is a perfection farm. And once we get past this bridge, we're going to see a lot of decoration in this area. I love that all of this is really just for decor, it's for aesthetics, but this little part leads over to the secret woods, so if you're ever needing hardwood or other items in the secret woods, you do have direct access. Now back here is one of my favorite little hideaways. This is the slime hutch area. Inside, I've decorated for my little slime boys so that they have a nice little area to play in. But I've also added outside a ton of lights and cute details to make it feel super cozy and peaceful. It's like a tiny, quiet corner of the farm that slows you down and just lets you enjoy the vibes of Stardew Valley a little bit. Next up is the animal zone, and yes, it is very packed in here. I've got a deluxe barn, a deluxe coop, a premium barn, and a premium coop, which means even more animals and all of the expanded animals as well. You can see that hay bales are scattered everywhere, and there's plenty of decor to keep things fun. And of course, I have silos over here on the left so that none of my animals go hungry because I would never forget to feed my animals or pet them every now and then. I just wouldn't forget to do that. Now heading up to the top of our farm, we see a path over here that leads to our mineral cave. I didn't know about this cave when I first started playing on this farm, so make sure you break the big boulder that's outside so you can get in here and get all of your ores and gems. And then as we head up, we see some more decor, a cabin, and we have our teleporter, which leads us to our nexus. This is basically a part in Stardew Valley Expanded where all of your teleports lead to so that you have one central hub. Heading back to the farm, we have the greenhouse area, complete with a well, bee houses for honey, and some decorative touches. Inside the greenhouse, I've almost fully maximized it for ancient fruit, and around the perimeter, fruit trees are lined up, and I've got a mix of crops in there like tea trees, pineapples, and cactus fruit growing as well, just so that we can get the most out of the space that we have in here. Stepping back outside, we're heading over to my sorry excuse of a mushroom cave. I realized while recording that I never decorated in here, which is usually something I always do, but it is set up to work with Automate, but it definitely needs a little bit of love. Walking past another cabin and a mill, we cross this bridge to Grandpa's shed. This is an addition from Stardew Valley Expanded. You do have to collect resources to be able to unlock it, but once you do, you can come inside, and here you can see that I've filled it with casks and kegs and jars to maximize my profit with Automate. But upstairs, there are more crops growing to keep all of those machines busy downstairs, and I love that they've already decorated the space for us. It makes it feel so cozy up here, and it's honestly one of my favorite spots on the farm to check in on. And over here to the left, there's a path that leads to a place called Grandpa's Grove. This hidden area features a beautiful waterfall and a hot spring, perfect for recharging your energy after a long day. You'll also find 8 hardwood trees that regrow over time, along with seasonal forage that is scattered throughout. Now we're heading over to the other end of the farm. On the right is an area you unlock later in Stardew Valley Expanded, which I have turned into a winery. The big winery building is packed with casks and kegs, keeping our never-ending ancient fruit wine production line humming along. Back outside, the vineyards are at different stages of growth, changing with the seasons. So right now we have green beans, but later in the summer it'll be grapes and so on. And then down below is a little cabin for the vineyard caretaker, which is surrounded by a lovely flower patch that adds a little bit of charm to the area. And I've also sprinkled in a few other decorations here and there to make the whole spot feel a lot more cozy and lively. And that, my friends, is the entire farm tour, but don't worry, we're not stopping there. Let's head inside the farmhouse so you can see how I've decorated inside of the house, and then we'll head over to Ginger Island so that we can check out that farm as well as that farmhouse. Now diving into the farmhouse, you can see that I have this witchy purple aesthetic going on. My outfit was witch themed for this save, so I thought the aesthetic would match well in my house. So heading over to the first room, we have this Junimo pub type vibe. I didn't really want to make this a dining room, and I thought this was a great alternative. And then we head back into the kitchen and the dining room where we have it fully equipped, along with the dining table and some Junimos that are hanging around. Now heading downstairs to the cellar, I will say that this was a little bit cramped in here, but I did set it up to be a little bit more witchy, a little bit of a library type vibe, and I do have all of my casks set up with Automate. Automate is a mod that will allow you to pull all of the items from a machine into a chest, so I have this set up so all of these are being pulled into the chest at the bottom. If you want to set this up for yourself, you just have to remove every other row of casks so that you can reach them all. Now heading back upstairs to more of the living spaces in this house, we have our living room here off of the main dining room and kitchen, and then we head into my bedroom, which is probably my favorite bedroom design of any house that I've ever decorated. I love how this turned out with the divider of the rooms so that we have the separate sections. We have Lance's weird looking room over here. I don't know what's going on, what he's doing there, but I love how all of this turned out with the rugs and with the Junimos hanging around and all of the bookshelves. I think it turned out perfect for what I was going for. And then we head downstairs. I don't know what this room is in my basement, but it's giving, Junimos are up to no good, casting spells, creating some magic with all of the gems and the books and everything. And then we head upstairs to my little library up here on the top right. I didn't do the full extent of this that you can get from Robin. I just wanted enough rooms to design them how I wanted to. So we have our library, and then we head into our kids' room. And then you might be wondering, what are all of these these trap doors doing? And that's because I created an Among Us room, and I have vents that are leading everywhere to my Among Us room. No questions will be asked, but I think we all need an Among Us room in our Stardew Valley homes. What do you guys think? Let me know down below. Anyway, we're gonna head upstairs to the final room of our house, which is our attic. There's not a whole lot going on up here, but it is decorated to fit the vibes of the rest of the house. I have my cursed mannequins up here. They are haunted. They are always moving at their own will, which is kind of scary, which is why they're up in the attic. But this is what this room looks like, and this is the final room of the farmhouse tour. And now we're gonna head over to Ginger Island. Leaving our farmhouse on Ginger Island, we see this top area that is decorated to the max. I never know what to put up here really, so doing decoration is always my go-to. And then we are gonna move down past the ancient fruit farm, which keeps all of those kegs back home moving and grooving. And we have some patches for starfruit, as well as some patches for some bee houses to keep our honey production going. And then we move past the Ginger Island fruit trees and some taro crops that are growing, adding a bit of variety to the farm other than just that ancient fruit and that starfruit. And then we move down to the bottom of the beach where I've set up an oak tree farm. It's not really decorated down here to the max. Usually I do a little bit more, but this is perfect for the min-maxing I like to do in this game. We get a lot of oak resin to make kegs and a lot of ancient fruit to put in those kegs. And now we'll head inside the Ginger Island farmhouse, where you can see we have that similar witchy type vibe going on here. You can see all of the different elements we have from the wizard catalog in here, like the potions and the cauldron and all of the different books and bookshelves. I love using these dressers to make little areas in the house so that you have a little bit of division. And I love putting the Junimos around on the floor. It just makes it cute and adds a little pop of color throughout. Then we head over into the kitchen, where again, I've used these little floor dividers to create different areas from the main living room into the smaller sitting room and with the kitchen. And when we head into the smaller sitting room, we see a lot of decor. We have a fish tank, we have different books and bookshelves, and we have potions on the wall. And then we head upstairs to the bedroom, and again, we have these little room dividers. We have a little bookshelf, and we have a little study area, and of course all of our Junimos everywhere. And that, my friends, is a wrap on the tour of my Perfection Farm for Stardew Valley Expanded. We've seen everything from the crops and animals to the winery and even Ginger Island. And I had so much fun showing you guys all of the little details, decorations, and pieces that I poured into this farm. It's been so much fun to get to do it, and I love being able to share it with you guys. But if you want even more, you can check out the screenshots of my farms, farmhouses, and other decorated areas over on Pinterest, or you can watch the full playthrough linked down below to see how it all came together. But now I want to hear from you. What was your favorite part of the farm? Make sure you drop it down below in the comments, and while you're down there, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, happy Stardew Valleying.